What if the reason you still do not feel confident speaking English is not because your English is weak? What if the real problem is that you are waiting for someone else to give you confidence? A teacher, a fluent friend, a native speaker, a speaking partner who listens patiently, corrects every mistake, and always knows what to say. Maybe you have told yourself, I will start speaking when I find the right person, but the right person never seems to appear. So you keep studying, you watch videos, you learn grammar, you write new words in a notebook, you understand more English than before. Yet when it is time to speak, your voice becomes quiet, your mind becomes empty, and you begin to believe that confidence is impossible without another person. But today, I want to gently challenge that belief. Because confidence does not begin when someone talks to you. Confidence begins when you become comfortable hearing your own voice. It begins in the private moments, in your bedroom, in your kitchen, during a walk, while you are getting ready in the morning, while you are waiting for the bus, while no teacher is listening, while no friend is correcting you, while nobody is watching. Those quiet moments may look unimportant, but they can completely change the way you speak English. You do not need to wait for a speaking partner before you begin. You can become your first speaking partner. And when you learn how to practice with yourself, something powerful happens. You stop depending on perfect conditions. You stop waiting for permission. You stop asking, who can I practice with? And you begin asking a better question. How can I use my English right now? That question can change everything. I understand why speaking alone may feel strange. Maybe you imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror and talking to nobody. Maybe you think, this looks silly. Maybe you worry that practicing alone is not real communication. But think about musicians. Before they perform in front of an audience, they practice alone. Think about athletes. Before they play in a stadium, they train when nobody is watching. Think about actors. Before they speak on a stage, they repeat their lines privately. Nobody says their private practice is useless. Private practice is where confidence is built. The public moment simply reveals what was practiced in private. English works in the same way. Your first confident conversation does not begin when another person says hello. It begins days or weeks earlier, when you quietly practice saying hello by yourself. It begins when you describe your morning. It begins when you answer an imaginary question. It begins when you hear your own mistakes and continue anyway. Many learners believe confidence comes after speaking perfectly. But confidence does not wait for perfection. Confidence grows every time you continue after an imperfect sentence. Every time you forget a word and try another one. Every time your pronunciation feels uncomfortable, but you keep speaking. Every time you hear your own voice and decide not to judge it. That is how confidence grows. Not suddenly, not magically, quietly, one sentence at a time. Let me ask you something. When you speak your first language alone, does it feel strange? Probably not. You may talk to yourself while looking for your keys. You may say, where did I put them? You may think out loud while cooking. You may say, I need more salt. You may remind yourself, do not forget to call her. You may complain, laugh, plan, remember, or solve problems without another person in the room. Talking to yourself is already part of your life. The only difference is the language. You do not need to learn a completely new activity. You only need to bring English into an activity your mind already understands. At first, it may feel slow. Your sentences may be short. You may repeat the same words many times. That is not failure. That is the beginning. A child does not begin by telling a long story. A child begins with small words connected to real life. Water, food. Come here. I want this. Where is it? Then those small pieces become stronger. They connect. They grow. And one day, a conversation appears. Your English confidence can grow in the same natural way. You do not need long speeches at the beginning. You need small sentences that belong to your real life. I am making tea. I feel tired today. I need to finish this. I do not know what to wear. I think I will go later. These sentences may look simple, but simple sentences spoken regularly become strong sentences. Strong sentences become automatic sentences. Automatic sentences create confident speech. This is the first truth I want you to remember. Confidence is not created by difficult vocabulary. It is created by familiarity. You feel confident with the words you have used many times. You feel nervous with the words you only recognize. There is a big difference between knowing a word and owning a word. You may know the word improve. You may understand it when someone else says it. But do you use it naturally? Do you say, I want to improve my speaking? Do you say, my listening is improving? Do you say, I improved because I practiced every day? Do you say, what can I improve today? Every time you use the word in a real sentence, it becomes more familiar. Every time it becomes more familiar, it becomes easier to trust. And when you trust your words, you speak with more confidence. Many learners collect vocabulary, but never build a relationship with it. They write hundreds of words. They review them. They recognize them. But the words remain silent. It is like owning a room full of instruments, but never learning to play one song. You do not need more instruments. You need to play the ones you already have. The same is true with English. Instead of asking, how many new words can I learn today? Try asking, how many familiar words can I speak today? That question moves English out of your notebook and into your life. Let us begin with a very simple practice. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, speak 5 sentences about your morning. Do not prepare them. Do not search for advanced words. Just look around and say what is true. I am awake. It is still early. My room is quiet. I need some water. I want to start my day well. That is enough. 5 sentences. Maybe they will sound slow. Maybe you will pause. Maybe your voice will feel different. Continue. You are not performing. You are training. There is no audience. There is no test. There is only you and the language you are learning to trust. The next morning, speak 5 more sentences. You can use the same sentences again. Repetition is not a problem. Repetition is how confidence is built. When you say the same useful sentence again and again, your brain stops treating it like difficult English. It becomes familiar. Then it becomes natural. Then it becomes yours. Think about your name. You can say your name without planning. You do not translate it. You do not worry about grammar. You have said it so many times that it appears automatically. Common English sentences can become automatic in the same way. Not because you are talented, because you repeat them. This is why practicing alone can be so powerful. When you practice with another person, you may feel pressure. You worry about answering quickly. You worry about being understood. You worry about making mistakes. But when you practice alone, you can slow everything down. You can repeat a sentence 10 times. You can stop. You can begin again. You can change one word. You can notice your voice without feeling embarrassed. Private practice gives you space, and space allows confidence to grow. Imagine you want to practice talking about your day. You could begin with one simple sentence. I had a busy day. Then expand it. I had a busy day because I had a lot of work. Then add another thought. I felt tired in the afternoon, but I finished everything. Then continue. After work, I came home and made dinner. One sentence becomes 2. 2 become 4. 4 become a story. You do not need a speaking partner to build that story. You need attention. You need patience. And you need the courage to hear yourself. Some learners avoid speaking alone because they are afraid of practicing mistakes. They think, what if I say something incorrectly and nobody corrects me? That is a reasonable concern. Corrections can help us, but constant correction is not the only way to improve. And too much fear of mistakes can stop you from practicing at all. Imagine someone learning to play basketball. If they refuse to throw the ball until every movement is perfect, they will never learn. They improve by trying. They miss. They adjust. They try again. Speaking is also a physical skill. Your mouth needs practice. Your tongue needs practice. Your breathing needs practice. Your brain needs practice finding words while your voice is moving. You cannot build that skill only by reading silently. At some point, English must leave your mind and enter the air, even imperfect English, especially imperfect English, because imperfect practice gives you something to improve. Silence gives you nothing. This does not mean you should ignore grammar forever. It means grammar should not prevent communication. You can improve accuracy while continuing to speak. You can record yourself. You can listen again. You can notice one sentence that sounds unclear. You can check it later. Then you can say it again. That is a healthy way to use correction. Speak first. Observe second. Improve one thing. Then continue. Do not turn every practice session into an examination. If you judge every sentence, your mind will become afraid to create sentences. Instead, treat practice like exploration. Be curious. Ask, how can I say this more clearly? Not, why am I so bad at English? Those two questions create very different feelings. The first question opens your mind. The second one closes it. The way you speak to yourself while learning is important. If your private English practice is filled with criticism, you will begin connecting English with pain. Every mistake will feel dangerous. Every pause will feel embarrassing. Every forgotten word will feel like proof that you cannot speak. But if your practice is patient, English begins to feel safe. You may say, that sentence was not clear. Let me try again. You may say, I forgot the word, but I can explain it another way. You may say, I am still learning, and this is part of learning. These are not empty positive statements. They are practical instructions for your brain. They teach your mind to continue instead of freezing. Confidence is not the absence of mistakes. Confidence is the ability to remain calm while mistakes are happening. Think about a confident speaker in your own language. Do they always choose the perfect word? No. Do they ever stop and change their sentence? Yes. Do they ever say, I do not know how to explain this? Of course. Confidence does not mean speaking without difficulty. It means difficulty does not control you. You can build that skill alone. Start by practicing recovery sentences. These are sentences you can use when your mind becomes empty. Let me think for a moment. How can I explain this? I do not know the exact word. What I am trying to say is, let me say that again. These sentences are powerful because they help you stay inside the conversation. Even when you practice alone, use them. Ask yourself a question, then pretend you forget the answer. Say, let me think for a moment. Pause. Breathe. Continue. You are teaching your brain that a pause is not the end. It is simply part of speaking. Many learners believe fluent speakers never pause. Listen carefully to real conversations and you will notice something. People pause all the time. They repeat words. They change direction. They begin one sentence and finish with another. Real speech is not perfect. It is alive. Your goal is not to sound like a machine. Your goal is to communicate like a human being. That means pauses are allowed. Simple words are allowed. Mistakes are allowed. Beginning again is allowed. Now, I want to give you another exercise that can help you build confidence without another person. Choose one ordinary object near you. It could be a chair, a cup, a phone, a bag. Look at it and speak about it for 1 minute. At first, you may think, What can I say about a cup for 1 minute? More than you imagine. This cup is white. I use it every morning. It was a gift from my friend. I usually drink tea from it. It is small, but I like it. I think I have had it for 2 years. I need to wash it later. These sentences are simple, but during that 1 minute, you are training many skills. You are finding words. You are creating sentences. You are connecting ideas. You are speaking continuously. You are learning to stay calm. Tomorrow, choose another object, then another. Your home contains hundreds of speaking topics. Your kitchen can teach you food vocabulary. Your bedroom can teach you daily routine vocabulary. Your closet can teach you colors and clothing. Your window can teach you weather and observation. Your phone can teach you technology and communication. You do not need to search for perfect topics. Your life is already full of them. The strongest practice is often the practice connected to things you actually see, use, remember, and feel. That is because your brain remembers meaning better when meaning is connected to experience. A random sentence from a textbook may disappear quickly, but a sentence about your own life stays longer. My sister called me yesterday. I missed the bus this morning. I am worried about tomorrow. I want to change my routine. These sentences carry personal meaning. Personal meaning creates emotional memory, and emotional memory helps language remain available when you speak. This is why speaking alone should not only be about describing objects. You should also practice describing your feelings. Many learners know many English words but struggle when someone asks, "How are you?" They say, "I am fine." Not because they are always fine, because that is the safest sentence they know. You can build more emotional confidence by speaking honestly to yourself. I feel calm today. I am a little worried. I feel disappointed because my plan did not work. I am excited about something. I feel tired, but I am proud of myself. You do not need to share these sentences with anyone. This is private practice. But when you learn to express real feelings alone, you become more ready to express them in a real conversation. Confidence grows when English can carry your real thoughts, not only memorized answers. Imagine meeting someone who asks, "How was your week?" A memorized learner may search for a perfect response. A practiced learner may say, "It was busy, but something good happened on Wednesday." That sentence opens the conversation. It feels natural because the learner has practiced talking about real life before. This is what you are building, not a collection of perfect answers. The ability to create honest answers. There is another method that can make speaking alone feel more like a conversation. It is called question and answer practice. You become both people. You ask the question, then you answer it. For example, "What did you do this morning?" "I woke up late, so I did not eat breakfast." "Why did you wake up late?" "I went to bed too late last night." "What were you doing?" "I was watching a movie." "Did you enjoy it?" "Yes, but I should have slept earlier." This may feel unusual at first, but it trains your brain to move between listening and responding. It teaches you to stay with one topic. It helps you discover the kinds of questions people may ask in real conversations. You can practice this while walking. You can practice it while looking in the mirror. You can practice it quietly in your room. You can even record both sides of the conversation. The important thing is not acting perfectly. The important thing is responding without preparing every word. At first, give yourself as much time as you need. Later, answer more quickly. Not because speed is the goal, because familiarity makes speed appear naturally. Do not force speed. Build comfort. Speed will follow. Think about a path through a field. The first time you walk across it, the grass is high. You move slowly. You are not sure where to step. But if you walk the same path every day, it becomes clearer. Your feet begin to know the way. English sentences create paths inside your mind. The first time you answer, "What did you do yesterday?" the path may feel difficult. You search for verbs, you think about time, you translate. But when you answer similar questions again and again, the path becomes easier. One day, the words arrive before you feel afraid. That is confidence, not a gift, a path created by repetition. You may be thinking, but speaking to myself is not the same as speaking to a real person. That is true. They are not exactly the same. A real conversation includes surprise. Another person may speak quickly. They may ask an unexpected question. They may use words you do not know. You cannot control everything, but private practice prepares you for those unpredictable moments. A boxer trains before entering the ring. A singer rehearses before the concert. A speaker practices before the presentation. Practice is not the final event. It prepares your body and mind for the final event. Speaking alone gives you basic strength. It helps you become familiar with your voice. It helps common sentences become automatic. It teaches you how to continue after mistakes. Then, when a real conversation appears, you are not beginning from zero. You already have movement inside you. You already have sentences you trust. You already know that your voice can survive a mistake. That matters more than you may realize. Sometimes the biggest obstacle is not vocabulary. It is the shock of hearing your own English voice. Many learners study silently for years. Then when they finally speak, their own voice sounds unfamiliar. The pronunciation feels strange. The rhythm feels uncomfortable. They become embarrassed, even when nobody is criticizing them. This is why recording yourself can be helpful. Not because you need to become obsessed with every sound, because you need to become familiar with yourself. The first recording may be difficult to hear. You may think, do I really sound like that? Be patient. Almost everyone feels uncomfortable hearing their recorded voice, even in their first language. Listen with curiosity, not cruelty. Do not search for 10 mistakes. Choose one thing. Maybe you speak too quietly. Maybe one word is unclear. Maybe you stop too often because you are searching for perfect grammar. Notice it. Practice again. Record another version. Then stop. You do not need to repair everything in one day. Confidence grows better when improvement feels possible. If every practice session becomes a long list of problems, you will avoid practicing. But if each session gives you one small victory, you will return tomorrow. Maybe today's victory is speaking for 1 minute without stopping. Maybe tomorrow's victory is using a new expression naturally. Maybe the next victory is listening to your recording without feeling ashamed. These victories may seem small, but small victories change your identity. You begin to think, I am someone who practices speaking. Then, I am someone who can explain simple ideas. Then, I am someone who continues when I make a mistake. Finally, I am an English speaker. Notice that last sentence. You do not need to wait until you are fluent to call yourself an English speaker. If you speak English, even imperfectly, you are already speaking it. Identity matters. When you tell yourself, I cannot speak English, your mind looks for proof. Every pause becomes proof. Every mistake becomes proof. Every forgotten word becomes proof. But when you say, I am learning to speak English with confidence, your mind begins looking for progress. One sentence becomes progress. 1 minute becomes progress. One brave attempt becomes progress. Use honest language with yourself. Do not say, my English is perfect. You do not need to pretend. Say, my English is growing. Say, I am becoming more comfortable. Say, I can speak more than I could before. These statements are believable. Believable encouragement is powerful. It helps you continue without lying to yourself. There is another simple practice that builds confidence quickly. Retell something you watched or read. Choose a short video, a simple story, or even a social media post. After you finish, close it. Do not look at the words. Explain the main idea out loud. You do not need every detail. You can say, "This video was about a woman who started a small business." Then continue. At first, she was afraid. She did not have much money. She started from her home. Later, more people bought her products. The main lesson was to begin before you feel ready. This practice teaches you to use English actively. When you only watch, English enters your mind. When you retell, English must come out. That movement from understanding to expression is where speaking confidence grows. Do not worry if your version is different from the original. You are not trying to memorize. You are trying to communicate meaning. Use the words available to you. If you forget one detail, continue. If you cannot remember a name, say the woman or the man. If you do not know a specific word, explain it. For example, maybe you forget the word umbrella. You can say the thing we use when it rains. That is not failure, that is communication. In real conversations, the ability to explain around a missing word is extremely valuable. Many learners stop speaking because one word disappears. They believe the entire sentence is broken. But communication is flexible. There is almost always another path. If you forget exhausted, say very tired. If you forget appointment, say a planned meeting. If you forget borrow, say take something and give it back later. You do not need the perfect word to continue. You need the courage to use the words you still have. Practice this skill alone. Choose a word. Pretend you do not know it. Explain it without saying the word. This is something we use to cut paper. This is a place where people go when they are sick. This is a person who teaches students. This exercise trains flexibility. Flexible speakers are confident speakers because they know one missing word cannot destroy the conversation. Now, let us talk about pronunciation. Some learners believe they cannot become confident because they do not sound like a native speaker. They listen to their accent and feel disappointed. They compare their voice to someone who has spoken English for 20 years. That comparison is unfair. Your accent is not proof that you failed. It is proof that you learned another language. The goal of pronunciation is not to erase your identity. The goal is to help people understand you comfortably. Clear is more important than perfect. You can practice clarity alone by slowing down. Choose one useful sentence. I would like to ask you something. Say it slowly. Notice each part. Then say it naturally. Record it. Listen. Do not ask, "Do I sound exactly like a native speaker?" Ask, "Can I understand my sentence clearly?" That is a healthier question. You can also practice with short audio clips. Listen to one sentence. Pause. Repeat it. Try to follow the rhythm. Not every sound, not every detail, just the movement of the sentence. Where does the speaker pause? Which word feels stronger? Which words become softer? This is called shadowing, when you speak along with the audio or immediately after it. Shadowing can help your mouth become more comfortable with English rhythm. But do not turn it into punishment. Choose short clips. Practice for a few minutes. Then use the sentence in your own way. If the audio says, "I did not expect that to happen," create new sentences. I did not expect the meeting to finish early. I did not expect the weather to change. I did not expect to enjoy the book. Now the sentence pattern becomes yours. You are not only copying sound. You are learning how to build new meaning. That is where confidence develops. There is another powerful habit you can practice at the end of every day. Give yourself a 2-minute evening report. Imagine you are telling a friend about your day. Begin with the morning. This morning, I woke up at 7. Then I made breakfast. I had a difficult meeting at work. In the afternoon, I felt more relaxed. Tonight, I want to rest. Do not write the report first. Speak from memory. Your sentences do not need to be long. Try to continue for 2 minutes. If you stop, use a recovery sentence. What else happened? Let me think. Oh, I remember something. Then continue. This habit helps you practice past tense, sequence, emotion, and storytelling. More importantly, it makes English part of your life every day. You are not waiting for a class. You are not waiting for a partner. Your day becomes the lesson. Your memories become the vocabulary. Your voice becomes the practice. Imagine doing this for 30 days. On the first night, you may speak for 30 seconds. On the fifth night, perhaps 1 minute. After 2 weeks, you may tell a complete story. After 1 month, you may notice that common sentences arrive more quickly. Nothing magical happened. You simply gave your brain repeated opportunities to speak. This is how confidence is built. Quiet practice becomes visible ability. You may not notice the change every day. Growth often hides while it is happening. Think about learning to type. At first, you search for every letter. You look down. You move slowly. Then one day, your fingers begin moving without conscious thought. You cannot identify the exact moment the change happened. It was created by hundreds of small repetitions. Speaking English can become easier in the same way. One sentence becomes automatic, then another, then a group of sentences. Eventually, you have enough familiar language to move through a conversation. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. Speaking for 10 minutes every day is often more useful than speaking for 2 hours once a month. Your brain needs regular contact. Your mouth needs regular movement. Your confidence needs regular evidence. Every day you practice, you give yourself evidence. I spoke today. I finished a story. I answered 5 questions. I continued after a mistake. Confidence is built from evidence. Not imagination, not wishing, evidence, and you can create that evidence alone. Let us build a simple daily routine. In the morning, speak 5 sentences about what you see and what you plan to do. During the day, describe one activity while you are doing it. In the evening, give a 2-minute report about what happened. That may take less than 10 minutes in total, but those 10 minutes are active. Your voice is working. Your brain is creating. Your confidence is receiving proof. You can add one more habit. Ask yourself one deeper question every day. What is something I am proud of? What is one problem I want to solve? What would I do if I had more free time? What is one habit I want to change? What is something I learned recently? Speak for as long as you can. These questions help you move beyond daily objects and routines. They train you to express opinions, hopes, problems, and ideas. This is important because confidence does not only mean ordering food or introducing yourself. Real confidence means being able to share part of your mind. You do not need advanced vocabulary to express a meaningful idea. You need clear structure. You can begin with, I think, I feel, in my experience, one reason is. For example, that is why. These simple connectors can carry many different thoughts. Practice them alone. Choose a topic. Maybe you want to talk about social media. You can say, I think social media is useful, but it can waste a lot of time. One reason is that people continue scrolling without noticing. For example, I sometimes open my phone for 5 minutes and stay there much longer. That is why I am trying to use it less. This is a complete opinion. The vocabulary is simple. The message is clear. Confidence often comes from having a structure you trust. You know how to begin. You know how to explain. You know how to give an example. You know how to finish. That structure makes your mind feel safer. Now imagine practicing one opinion every day. After 1 month, you will have spoken about 30 different topics. Work, family, health, technology, travel, education, money, friendship, habits, Dreams. You may not have a speaking partner, but your mind will become more prepared for conversations. When someone asks what you think, you will not be meeting the topic for the first time. You will already have language connected to it. This does not mean memorizing a speech. It means building familiarity with your own ideas. There is something else many learners forget. Listening can also become speaking practice. When you watch a video, do not only consume it. Pause occasionally and respond. If the speaker asks a question, answer out loud. If the speaker shares an opinion, say whether you agree. If a character makes a decision, explain what you would do. Turn passive listening into an active conversation. The person in the video cannot hear you. That does not matter. Your brain is practicing response. For example, if someone in a video says, "I decided to move to another city," pause. Say, "I think that would be exciting, but also difficult." Then explain why. You have created a speaking opportunity from a listening activity. You can do the same with podcasts, interviews, stories, or documentaries. English content can become your temporary speaking partner. Not because it answers you personally, because it gives your mind something real to respond to. You can also use photographs. Choose a picture on your phone. Describe what is happening. Who is there? Where are they? What happened before the picture? What may happen next? How do the people feel? What details do you notice? One picture can create many minutes of speech. Suppose the picture shows a family sitting near the ocean. You can say, "They are sitting on the sand. It looks like the evening. Maybe they came here for a holiday. The children seem excited. The parents may be tired, but they look happy. Perhaps they will eat dinner after sunset." You are practicing description, imagination, possibility, and storytelling, all without another person. The world is full of speaking material when you begin looking at it differently. A street becomes a topic. A memory becomes a story. A problem becomes an explanation. A plan becomes a future conversation. A feeling becomes an honest sentence. You are never truly without material. You may only be without the habit of using it. Habits are built through small signals. Choose a regular moment for speaking. Maybe every time you make tea, you speak English for 3 minutes. Maybe every time you walk to work, you describe your plans. Maybe every night before sleeping, you tell one story from your day. Connect English to something you already do. This makes practice easier to remember. You do not need to wait for motivation. The routine itself reminds you. Over time, the activity and the language become connected. You pick up your cup, and English begins. You put on your shoes, and English begins. You open your notebook, and English begins. This is how a new habit becomes natural. Do not make the routine too difficult. Many learners create a perfect plan and follow it for 3 days. They promise to speak for 1 hour every morning. They prepare 20 topics. They record every sentence. Then life becomes busy, and the plan disappears. Small routines survive. Speak for 5 minutes. Choose one topic. Practice one pattern. End with one sentence you feel proud of. That is enough. You can always do more when you have energy. But your minimum practice should be so simple that you can continue even on difficult days. Consistency protects confidence. When you stop for a long time, speaking begins to feel unfamiliar again. When you practice a little each day, the door stays open. There will be days when your English feels strong. Words will appear. Sentences will connect. You will surprise yourself. There will also be days when simple words disappear. You will feel slow. You may think you are moving backward. You are not. Every skill changes from day to day. Your energy changes. Your stress changes. Your focus changes. One difficult practice does not erase your progress. Do not judge your entire journey by one tired evening. On difficult days, make the practice smaller. Say 3 sentences. Read 1 paragraph aloud. Answer one question. Keep the connection alive. A small flame is easier to grow than a fire that has completely disappeared. Protect the flame. Even 5 minutes matters. Maybe you feel embarrassed speaking alone because someone in your family may hear you. You do not need to speak loudly. You can speak quietly. You can practice during a walk. You can speak in the car. You can use headphones and pretend you are on a call. You can record yourself in a private place. You can whisper if necessary. The volume is not important. The movement is important. Your mouth must experience English. Your brain must experience creating sentences. Find a method that fits your life. Do not wait for perfect privacy. Use the space available to you. Confidence often grows through adaptation. You learn to practice wherever you are. There is another fear that may appear. What if I sound foolish? Let us be honest. At first, you may sound uncertain. You are practicing a new skill. That is normal. A beginner musician does not sound like a professional. A new driver does not move with complete confidence. A person learning to cook may make simple mistakes. We accept this in almost every area of life. But with language, we sometimes expect ourselves to sound natural immediately. Give yourself permission to be a learner. There is dignity in practicing. There is courage in sounding imperfect. There is strength in continuing before confidence arrives. In fact, confidence often comes after the action. You do not always feel confident and then speak. Sometimes you speak while nervous. Then your brain learns that speaking was safe. The next time, the fear becomes smaller. This is an important truth. Action can create confidence. You do not need to wait for confidence before acting. Suppose you feel nervous recording a 1-minute message. Record it anyway. Your voice may shake. You may restart. Finish the message. The next day, record another. After 10 recordings, the activity feels more normal. After 30 recordings, you may wonder why it once felt so frightening. Fear becomes smaller when an experience becomes familiar. This is why private practice is such a powerful first step. You can face fear in a safe environment. No one interrupts. No one laughs. No one becomes impatient. You can stay with the discomfort until it begins to change. Then, when you finally speak with another person, you are not meeting your English voice for the first time. You know it. You have heard it. You have trained it. You have forgiven it. You have strengthened it. That relationship with your own voice is the foundation of confidence. Let us try a powerful visualization. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. You are speaking English with someone. Maybe it is a colleague. Maybe it is a traveler. Maybe it is a new friend online. They ask about your day. You answer. Not perfectly, but naturally. You make one mistake and continue. You forget one word and explain it differently. You pause, smile, and finish your thought. The conversation continues. Later, you realize something. You were not translating every sentence. You were not judging every sound. You were simply communicating. Where did that moment begin? It began during the quiet mornings when you spoke 5 sentences alone. It began during the walks when you described your plans. It began during the evenings when you recorded your day. It began when you practiced continuing after a mistake. It began when nobody was listening. The confident speaker in that future conversation is being built by what you do privately today. Every small practice is a vote for that future version of you. You do not need to see the complete change yet. You only need to cast today's vote. Speak 1 minute. Tell one story. Answer one question. Describe one feeling. That is how the future is built. There is a beautiful freedom in becoming your own speaking partner. You no longer need to say, I cannot practice because nobody is available. You can practice anytime. At sunrise, at midnight, during a break, while cleaning, while walking, while waiting. Your practice becomes independent. and independence creates consistency. Of course, speaking with real people will still be valuable later. Real conversations will challenge you in new ways, but you will enter them stronger. You will not be asking another person to create your confidence from nothing. You will bring confidence that has already started growing. A speaking partner can help you expand, but they do not have to be the beginning. You can begin, right now, with the voice you already have, with the words you already know, with the life you are already living. Sometimes learners search for advanced techniques because simple practice feels too ordinary. They believe progress must be complicated. A special app, a perfect course, an expensive teacher, a secret method. But confidence is often built through ordinary actions repeated patiently. Speak about breakfast. Explain your plan. Retell a story. Describe a picture. Record your opinion. Ask and answer a question. These activities are not exciting every day, but they work. A tree does not grow through one dramatic storm. It grows through regular sunlight, water, and time. Your English needs the same quiet consistency. Do not underestimate ordinary practice. Ordinary practice creates extraordinary familiarity, and familiarity is the home of confidence. I want you to create a personal confidence list. Write 10 sentences you want to say easily. Choose sentences connected to your real life. My name is. I work as. I am interested in. I started learning English because. In my free time, I usually. One goal I have is. Recently, I have been trying to. I think the most important thing is. In the future, I would like to. Let me explain what I mean. Practice these sentences until they feel comfortable. Then change small parts. Do not memorize them like a robot. Use them as foundations. For example, I started learning English because I wanted better opportunities. I started learning English because I love traveling. I started learning English because I wanted to understand more people. One structure can carry many different meanings. This reduces pressure. Your brain does not create every sentence from nothing. It uses familiar patterns. Fluent speakers use patterns too. They do not invent language one word at a time. They use groups of words that have become familiar. You can build your own groups. I am not sure, but one reason is, the good thing is, the difficult part is, what I mean is, from my experience. Practice completing these patterns with different ideas. The good thing is that I have more time now. The good thing is that I learned from the mistake. The good thing is that we can try again. When these beginnings become automatic, speaking feels easier. You know how to enter the sentence. And often, beginning is the hardest part. Now let us talk about silence. When you practice alone, silence may feel uncomfortable. You ask yourself a question, and nothing comes. Your mind is empty. Do not panic. Stay there. Take one breath. Use a simple beginning. I think. In my opinion. Yesterday. One thing I remember is, silence is not proof that you have no English. Sometimes your brain is organizing language. Give it time. If nothing appears, simplify the idea. Instead of explaining your entire career plan, say one sentence. I want to find a better job. Then ask why. Because I want to learn new skills. Then continue. Small answers can open larger answers. Do not demand a perfect paragraph immediately. Build it step by step. Speaking confidence grows when you trust yourself to find the next sentence, not when you can see the entire speech before you begin. Real conversations are created one sentence at a time. You say something, the other person responds. You adjust. You continue. Private practice can follow the same rhythm. Do not prepare everything. Begin with one honest sentence. Then follow your own thought. You may discover ideas you did not expect. That discovery makes speaking more natural. Another useful exercise is the three-level answer. Choose a simple question. For example, what do you do on weekends? First, give a one-sentence answer. On weekends, I usually rest at home. Second, give a three-sentence answer. On weekends, I usually rest at home. I watch movies and spend time with my family. Sometimes I go out with a friend. Third, speak for 1 minute. Add details. Explain why. Share an example. Describe how you feel. This exercise teaches you to control the length of your answer. Sometimes a short answer is enough. Sometimes a conversation needs more detail. Confidence includes knowing how to expand. Practice with common questions. Where are you from? What do you do? Why are you learning English? What kind of music do you like? What is your daily routine? What are your future goals? These are not boring questions. They are foundations. When you can answer familiar questions comfortably, you have more energy for unexpected questions later. Your brain is not struggling with everything at once. Part of the conversation already feels safe. You can also practice imaginary situations. Pretend you are ordering food. Pretend you are checking into a hotel. Pretend you are meeting a new colleague. Pretend you are asking for help in a store. Speak both sides if necessary. Hello? Can I help you? Yes, I am looking for a black jacket. What size do you need? I think I need a medium. Would you like to try this one? Yes, thank you. Your imagination can create a practice room anywhere. The situation does not need to be perfect. The purpose is to make useful language familiar. Later, when a similar moment happens in real life, your brain recognizes it. You have already walked part of the path. You have already heard yourself say the words. That recognition reduces fear. Some people may say speaking alone cannot teach listening, but you can combine both. Record questions on your phone. Leave a few seconds after each question. Then play the recording later and answer before the silence ends. You can create your own interview. What is something you want to learn? Pause. What was the best part of your week? Pause. What would you do with an extra day of free time? Pause. When you play the recording, you do not know exactly how your answer will sound. The small time limit creates gentle pressure. This helps prepare you for real conversation. Begin with long pauses. Later make them shorter. Again, do not force speed. Use pressure carefully. The goal is growth, not panic. You can also use random topics. Write simple topics on small pieces of paper. Food, travel, childhood, technology, friendship, work, health, dreams. Choose one without looking. Speak for 1 minute. This adds surprise. You learn to organize thoughts quickly. At first, your speech may be simple. That is fine. Confidence does not require complexity. It requires movement. Keep the language moving. Say what you know. If the topic is travel, you can begin. I have not traveled very much, but there are many places I want to visit. Now you have a direction. First, I would like to visit. Another reason is, I think traveling can. One sentence creates another. Trust the chain. Do not stop because the first sentence was not impressive. Most meaningful conversations are built from ordinary beginnings. There is another lesson I want you to remember. Your English confidence will not grow at the same speed every day. Some weeks, you will notice clear progress. Other weeks, nothing will seem different. This is normal. Your brain may be strengthening patterns beneath the surface. Think about water heating slowly. For a long time, it looks unchanged. Then suddenly, it begins to boil. The change was happening before you could see it. Your practice may feel the same. For 20 days, speaking may still feel difficult. Then one morning, a complete sentence appears naturally. You may think it happened suddenly, but it was built by every earlier attempt. Trust invisible progress. Do not quit because today's result looks small. You are training a system, not creating a performance. Some results need time. You may also notice that your confidence changes depending on the topic. You may speak easily about your work, but struggle to explain a movie. You may describe your routine, but find it difficult to discuss an opinion. That does not mean your confidence is false. It means language is connected to familiarity. Practice different areas. One day, describe. One day, tell a story. One day, give an opinion. One day, explain a process. One day, imagine the future. This creates balanced confidence. You can explain a process by teaching yourself how to do something. How do I make tea? First, I boil the water. Then I put tea in the cup. After that, I add the water. Finally, I wait for a few minutes. You can explain how to use an app, how to cook a meal, how to travel to your workplace, how to create an account. Teaching is powerful speaking practice because it requires clear order. You begin noticing missing vocabulary. You learn to connect steps. You become more comfortable giving instructions. Again, your daily life already contains many lessons. You only need to speak them. One of the most powerful forms of private practice is telling your own story. Talk about your childhood, your first job, a difficult decision, a person who influenced you, a mistake that taught you something, a dream you still have. Your story matters because nobody else can tell it exactly the way you can. You may not know every English word, but you know the meaning. Meaning gives you direction. Begin simply. When I was younger, I was very shy. Then continue. I did not like speaking in front of people. One day, something happened. You do not need to finish the entire story in one session. Tell one part today, another part tomorrow. Return to the same story after 1 week. You may notice that it becomes easier. You add details. You use stronger expressions. Your pauses become shorter. This is visible proof of improvement. Record the first version and the later version. Do not compare yourself to another speaker. Compare your voice to your earlier voice. That comparison is honest. Maybe your grammar is still imperfect, but perhaps you speak longer. Perhaps your ideas are clearer. Perhaps you recover more quickly. Perhaps your voice sounds less afraid. Those changes matter. Confidence is not measured only by accuracy. It is also measured by freedom. Can you continue? Can you express yourself? Can you remain calm? Can you enjoy part of the process? These are signs of growth. I want you to think about the way you react when you hear your own mistake. Maybe you say, "Oh no," and stop. Try a new response. Smile. Correct it if you can. Then continue. For example, yesterday I went to the market. That is normal communication. You noticed. You adjusted. You continued. Do not restart the entire story because of one verb. In real conversation, the moment keeps moving. Practice moving with it. Confidence becomes stronger when mistakes lose their power to stop you. You can even create a rule. During the first recording, do not restart. Finish the full minute. During the second recording, improve what you noticed. This separates fluency practice from accuracy practice. In the first round, focus on continuing. In the second, focus on clarity. Trying to improve everything at the same time creates too much pressure. Separate the skills. One day, practice flow. Another moment, practice pronunciation. Another moment, review grammar. Each skill receives attention without controlling the others. This makes practice calmer, and calm practice is easier to continue. There is a reason calm matters. When you are afraid, your brain narrows its attention. You forget familiar words. You rush. You stop listening to your own meaning. When you feel safe, your mind becomes more flexible. You remember alternatives. You notice connections. You can laugh at a small mistake. Create a peaceful environment for private speaking. Sit comfortably. Take one breath before beginning. Remind yourself, I am practicing, not performing. Then speak. That sentence can change the entire experience. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are building familiarity. Some days, walk while you speak. Movement can reduce pressure. Your body feels less trapped. Ideas may come more naturally. Look at the world around you. Describe what you see. A man is waiting near the shop. The road is busier than usual. It looks like it may rain. I can hear children playing. This is real-time English. Your attention, your environment, and your voice are working together. These moments teach your brain to connect English directly to life. You see something. You speak English. No translation is necessary. The more often this happens, the more natural English becomes. Thinking in English and speaking in English begin supporting each other. At first, you may translate. Do not fight your brain aggressively. Translation is a habit. Habits change through replacement. When you see rain, say, it is raining. When you feel hungry, say, I need to eat. When you are late, say, I need to hurry. These direct connections become faster with repetition. You do not stop translating through force. You stop translating because familiar English begins arriving first. Give it time. Every simple sentence creates another direct connection. One day, you will notice a thought appearing in English without effort. Maybe you are opening the fridge and think, there is nothing to eat. Maybe you are waiting and think, this is taking too long. That small moment is important. It means English is becoming part of your natural thought process. Celebrate it. Not loudly, just notice it. Progress often arrives quietly. There is no certificate, no music, no announcement, just one sentence that appears differently than before. Those moments are the result of private practice. You may wonder how long this will take. There is no exact answer. Every learner is different, but you do not need to wait for complete fluency before noticing improvement. You can become more comfortable this week. You can speak longer this month. You can answer faster after regular practice. Do not measure only the final destination. Measure the small changes. How long can you speak without stopping? How many ideas can you connect? How quickly can you recover after forgetting a word? How do you feel when listening to your recording? Can you use a familiar phrase more naturally? These questions help you see progress. Progress creates motivation. Motivation supports consistency. Consistency creates more progress. This becomes a positive circle. But the circle begins with action. Your first action can be extremely small. After this video, do not search for another lesson immediately. Put your phone down. Look around. Choose one object. Speak about it for 30 seconds. Then ask yourself one question. What was the most important part of my day? Answer it. That is enough for today. Tomorrow, do it again. You may feel that 30 seconds cannot change your English. One drop does not fill a bottle. But bottles are filled by drops. One brick does not build a house, but houses are built with bricks. One practice does not create confidence, but confidence is created through practices. Never insult the small beginning. The small beginning is where everything starts. I also want you to protect your practice from comparison. You may watch a fluent speaker online and feel discouraged. They speak smoothly. They use expressions you do not know. They seem fearless. You are seeing their current ability. You are not seeing their early days. You are not hearing their first uncomfortable recordings. You are not watching the years of listening, reading, speaking, forgetting, correcting, and trying again. Do not compare your private beginning with someone else's public result. Compare honestly. Can you do something today that felt difficult 3 months ago? Can you understand more? Can you speak one extra sentence? That is your path. Walk your path. Your accent, your speed, your vocabulary, and your confidence will grow in their own way. The purpose of English is not to become another person. The purpose is to express yourself to more people. Your personality does not need to disappear. Your voice does not need to become someone else's voice. English should carry who you are. Your humor, your kindness, your questions, your experiences, your ideas, your hopes. That is why practicing personal topics is so important. You are not only learning language, you are learning how to remain yourself inside another language. At first, you may feel smaller in English. In your first language, you may be funny, intelligent, emotional, and confident. In English, you may only say simple things. This can feel frustrating. Be patient. Your English personality is still growing. Every story you tell gives it more space. Every opinion you express gives it more strength. Every feeling you describe gives it more depth. One day, more of you will become available in English. That is a beautiful moment. And it can begin in private. Speak about what matters to you. Do not practice only sentences you think learners should say. Talk about your real interests. If you love football, explain a match. If you love cooking, describe a recipe. If you love business, discuss an idea. If you love stories, retell one. If you care about your family, share a memory. Interest creates energy. Energy makes practice longer. Longer attention creates stronger learning. You do not need to force yourself to discuss boring topics every day. Use English to enter the parts of life you already enjoy. This is how English becomes more than a subject. It becomes another way to experience your interests. You can also create a private audio diary. Every day, record 1 or 2 minutes. Begin with the date, then speak freely. Today is Monday. I felt tired this morning. Something interesting happened at work. I had an idea I want to remember. Keep the recordings. After 1 month, listen to the first one. You may hear progress you could not feel day by day. Your voice may sound clearer. Your pauses may be shorter. Your ideas may connect more naturally. Even if the change is small, it is real. The diary also removes the pressure of choosing a new practice method every day. You know what to do. Press record. Speak about your life. Stop. Simple routines are powerful because they reduce decision-making. You save your energy for speaking. Do not worry about making every recording perfect. Some recordings will be messy. That is fine. A diary is not a performance. It is evidence of your journey. Years later, you may hear the voice that was once afraid and feel proud that it continued. There is something deeply powerful about keeping a promise to yourself. When you say, "I will practice for 5 minutes," and you do it, you build trust. That trust becomes part of confidence. You begin believing that you can improve because you are doing the work. Confidence is not only confidence in English, it is confidence in your ability to continue. Protect that trust. Do not make impossible promises. Make small promises you can keep. 5 minutes, 1 recording, 1 story, 1 question. Then complete it. A completed small practice is stronger than a perfect plan that never begins. Perhaps you have been waiting for a speaking partner for months. Maybe you joined groups but felt too shy to participate. Maybe people were unavailable. Maybe time zones made practice difficult. Maybe you had one uncomfortable experience and stopped trying. I want you to release the idea that your progress must remain frozen until another person arrives. You have more control than you think. You cannot control who is available today. You can control whether your voice moves. You cannot control whether someone corrects you. You can control whether you record and review 1 sentence. You cannot control every future conversation. You can prepare yourself for it. This sense of control reduces fear. You are no longer helpless. You are building something. Every day, alone, but not powerless. There is a difference between being alone and being unsupported. Your own habits can support you. Your recordings can support you. Your routines can support you. The videos and stories you respond to can support you. Your curiosity can support you. Your patience can support you. Eventually, real people will enter your English journey. But by then, you will have built a foundation. You will know how to practice even when they leave. That independence protects your progress. I want to share one final exercise. It is called the confidence conversation. Stand or sit comfortably. Imagine you are speaking to a kind person who truly wants to know you. They are not judging your grammar. They are listening to your meaning. Begin with this sentence. Let me tell you something about myself. Then continue for 3 minutes. Talk about your life, your work, your family, your goal, your challenge, your dream. Whenever you stop, imagine the person asking, "What happened next?" Continue. If you make a mistake, do not apologize. If you forget a word, explain it. If your sentence is simple, let it be simple. At the end, say, "Thank you for listening." Then take one breath. Notice what you just did. You created a conversation. Yes, the other person was imaginary, but your speaking was real. Your breathing was real. Your sentence creation was real. Your courage was real. Practice this conversation once a week. Change the topic. Tell a different story. You may notice that the imaginary listener slowly becomes less important. Your own voice becomes enough to continue. That is the confidence we are building. Not confidence that depends on praise. Not confidence that disappears when someone corrects you. Not confidence that exists only on easy topics. A quieter confidence. The confidence to begin. The confidence to pause. The confidence to make mistakes. The confidence to continue. The confidence to trust simple words. The confidence to communicate even when English is imperfect. This kind of confidence cannot be given to you by another person. A teacher can guide you. A friend can encourage you. A partner can practice with you. But you must build the relationship with your own voice. You must decide that your voice deserves to be heard before it becomes perfect. You must allow yourself to be a beginner. You must practice in the moments nobody sees. Then one day, someone will hear you speak and say, "You sound confident." They will not know about the mornings. They will not know about the recordings. They will not know about the awkward pauses in your room. They will not know how many times you began again. They will only see the result. But you will know, confidence was not born in that conversation. It was revealed there. It was born in private. It was built through ordinary days. It grew every time you spoke without an audience. Every time you chose practice instead of waiting. Every time you treated a mistake as part of the journey. Every time you trusted one simple sentence. So today, stop telling yourself that you cannot improve because you do not have a speaking partner. You have a voice. You have thoughts. You have memories. You have questions. You have a world around you. You have enough to begin. Become curious about your own life in English. Describe it. Question it. Explain it. Remember it. Plan it. Record it. Speak it. You do not need to speak for an hour today. Speak for 1 minute. Tomorrow, speak for 2. Do not chase confidence as if it is hiding somewhere far away. Create it through action. Create it through repetition. Create it through patience. Create it in the quiet moments. One day, English will no longer feel like something you are trying to produce. It will feel like something available to you. A way to explain, a way to connect, a way to share your mind. And when that day arrives, you may look back and realize that the partner you were waiting for was never the only answer. You were capable of beginning the entire time. Your room was enough. Your daily life was enough. Your simple words were enough. Your imperfect voice was enough. Take one breath. Say one sentence now. Do not judge it. Let it exist. Then say another. This is how confidence begins. Not when fear disappears. Not when grammar becomes perfect. Not when someone finally agrees to practice with you. It begins the moment you decide that your voice can move forward today. Keep speaking. Keep listening. Keep beginning again. Be patient with your pauses. Be kind to your mistakes. Trust the words you already know. Use them until they become part of you. And remember this whenever you feel alone in your English journey. You may be practicing by yourself, but every sentence is taking you closer to the conversations waiting for you. Every quiet attempt is preparing you for a louder future. Every ordinary day is building a stronger voice. You are not waiting to become confident someday. You are building confidence now. One thought, one sentence, one brave moment at a time.